What is up, YouTube? And today we're just going to be talking about how you want to build your Immortal Wukong and what you want to do with him and how you want to make him work. Now I do have a PvE showcase of him in Asmonak and also Banshee. Pretty good there, but most of the time you're going to be using him for PvP. Now don't do what I do and put him in the Grace of Growth. You actually can, but you kind of want more into damage for his S1, so you do kind of want to max him out. But the most important thing is you have the turn cooldown on your S3, and honestly the damage as well. And then also your S2 for sure you want maxed out, so you have critical hit resistance and penetration resistance. Now he's very, very strong because very tanky innately because he has this resistance built in. Also, you can see if he suffers non-crits, he will get a stacking attack and speed bonus, stacking up to 3 times, 60% attack and speed, which is crazy. And he also gets an attack buff for himself from his S3, which also has a stun. So very good into Janua because you can stun the Janua and proc his S2, and he won't be able to do anything for a turn, right? So you can just kill him after. And this will not be affected by elemental disadvantage, so it'll work versus Janua even though he's fire. And you have your S1, very strong attack. On your turn it's AoE, hits pretty decently. Also you get a barrier similar to how Hwayoung was, scaling with your attacks. So basically what you want to do is build him on pretty decent attack. I think like anywhere above 3000 is honestly fine if you're using him just for Janua. But the most important thing is you want bulk and you want some decent speed. So I think you want 200 speed because you just get so much value out of your passive. And you do want some bulk because in the case that Janua actually crits through you, you actually want around like 15-16k health so you don't die. And you're going to see my Janua is just there. So if you're struggling to reach that health threshold, you can actually switch out your attack percent ring for health. And this is the gear I have him on. Pretty gear intense, to be honest, because he needs pretty much every single stat. He needs attack, defense, you want some health, speed, crit chance, and crit damage. You pretty much need everything. You can see the average gear score on this guy is, I think it's like 100 almost. This is the worst piece by far. You see I have like 104 piece on him, 101, 102. And even with this artifact, I'm still hurting on gear and stats. So yeah, this artifact, very good on him, gives him more crit resistance, gives him critical hit chance. You can also even run him on Sigurd's Scythe. I've seen some people run him on Sigurd's Scythe for some sustain. It's actually pretty good as well. Really up to you if you guys have the crit chance to make it work. Sigurd's Scythe is fine. If not, his own artifact is good as well. Now, how you want to use him is basically into Janua, right? So you want to bring him into Janua and you just stun him. Pretty decent. Honestly though, after testing him in Guild Wars and some World Arena, I have to say he's a little bit underwhelming. I thought he'd be a lot better because he just gets so many stats for free. But his damage modifier on his S1 is not the best, and he doesn't really do anything. He just kind of sits there, soaks damage, and has an AoE attack every turn. And then his S3, even though it's nice, it hits pretty hard, but the stun is pretty useless except against Januas, because against other units they usually have like effect resist because you're fighting a lot of tanky units, or even then you're gonna be fighting units with like stealth built in, like Selene, Politis, and stuff like that. So honestly not as broken as I thought, but still nonetheless a pretty strong unit, I'd say, and pretty fun. Definitely worth building. He's going to be very good for Rift as well, the new season of Rift, so you definitely want to make sure you have him ready for that. But pretty powerful unit, I'd say. Just keep in mind that he does get torched by some units, and the biggest unit that counters him right now is Fire Ravi. Don't mind that I don't have an artifact on her. I think I actually stole Edward's. Yeah, I need to steal Edward's Sigurd Scythe back because I used him for Guild Wars earlier. But basically Ravi pretty good into him because she always crits, and she can also stun him and be very annoying, and she just kind of destroys him. Also, funnily enough, Hwayoung is pretty good, and Shaltir is not that bad either, so you have to keep that in mind. Also, anything with attack down is very powerful, so Conquer Ilias, very strong against him if you actually don't have a cleanser for him. With this vigor buff, you get more defense to lessen his damage, and you actually decrease his attack by 50%, which makes him do pretty much 0 damage, and he just dies, so definitely have to watch out for those units. He synergizes very well with units such as Navy Captain Landy. Just make sure that they don't have a strip because, this critical hit resistance buff is very good for him. It'll stack his passive even faster, make him unkillable. Another unit that has been in the bench for a while but still very good with him is Dien. That's what I've been using with him for Guild Wars offense, and I've seen a lot of success. But pretty much, very fun unit, good for Guild Wars offense, good for PvE. Not like super broken, which is nice, but definitely a powerful unit. I think he's definitely worth pulling for. If you are hurting on bookmarks, he's not limited, so he will be back and he's available from the regular pool, so you'll be able to pull him there, but definitely a strong unit nonetheless. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think and what builds you have him on. I really think this build is not that bad. Maybe I'm focusing a little bit more heavily on defense here and health, but I do think that you do want a good spread of bulk with high attack. I'm not really too sure about the crit chance and crit damage yet. Honestly, I think maybe you might want to not go any crit chance at all. We're still going to be testing it out. But for now, this is the build I have him on. He seems to be doing pretty fine. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what build you have him on, and I'll see you guys next video.